Hello, welcome back to the James Almond Reviews for yet another episode. In today's episode, I actually watched Heretic in the cinema last night, and in this video, I'm actually going to be reviewing for you Heretic, which is the most recent Hugh Grant thriller movie that came out. It actually came out a couple days ago as I'm recording this, but I only just watched it yesterday, so the movie hasn't been out for that long, and so that means that I'm not going to be giving away tons and tons and tons of stuff about the film, but I will give you a bit of context here into saying that when it comes to like Hugh Grant movies, yeah, I've actually seen a few of his movies. Like, he did this one with Jason Statham. It's like this spy thing. It's really, really cheesy, called Operation Fortune. And then you had like Dungeons and Dragons, that game adaptation that came out last year and everybody enjoyed. And I watched it at home and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. So Hugh Grant has this thing where he's actually a really good actor and he's able to make movies really fun and kind of really interesting with his performance. And so there's definitely that. And so going into this movie, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into here. Was I gonna get myself into like a really really good movie or a really really bad movie? I really didn't know. I had zero expectations. I kind of just booked this movie last week on the Cineworld app, and I was like, okay, just gonna go in blind as a bat. I didn't even know how long the movie was, and so what is the movie actually about? Without giving it away, what it actually is all about is how it's kind of like this religious movie where it's talking about how there is faith and how you would believe in this certain thing or this certain other thing, and how everything would play out based on how you feel about religion. Do you believe? Do you not believe? And this is not even a spoiler because there is a lot in this movie. There's a lot of twists and turns and stuff like that. So that's kind of the generic kind of idea. And so there's about three or four actors in the movie. There's two girls and there's Hugh Grant and then there's this other guy in the film, pretty much. And so there's definitely That's probably the best way I can describe the movie without spoiling it. And so what do I actually think about this film? So I'm just gonna be honest and pretty much straight up say off the bat here that Hugh Grant gives one of the best performances in this film, and you get to see a different side to his acting career here because he's in a thriller movie and he plays this really, really convincing, almost kind of like he's like kind of like this bad guy, but obviously without spoiling, you kind of learn about his character and you learn about the other characters as well. So you try to the movie makes you think about a certain way that what he is going through, what he is thinking, what he's going to do next, and stuff like that. And that's what's really cool about it is like it's trying to say, he might be this good guy in this way, but maybe he's bad in this way. So it's kind of clever in that way because the message it's trying to convey has more than one thing to say, and so there's a lot to take away from it, and that's what's really, really interesting about it. And so there's definitely that I enjoy. However, I will be honest to say that this movie is not a masterpiece and it's not perfect because the time that has sat while thinking about the film, it's not like it's a 5 out of 10 garbage movie, but the first 10 minutes are kinda slow and it's kinda strange because the two girls kinda just have this random conversation, and you'll understand that when you watch the movie, but it just doesn't start off super duper interesting, and then it's slowly building towards the plot it's trying to convey. So it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And so I would actually give this movie like a solid 7 or an 8 out of 10 because with my mind alone I was like, oh, it feels like it's a 9 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. But there are a couple of things that aren't really perfect about it. Like Hugh Grant does a really good job. And also, I forgot to mention, but the two girls really do give it all and they do really, really try. And I was really, really invested in the movie. So there's that, but there is also this actual factor that I think that this movie when it's really funny, it is actually hilarious because there's these distressing things going on, and the movie's trying to distract you from all this weird stuff happening. So it's not like it turns into a comedic film, but there is just like these things that are like uncanny or just unintentionally funny, right? And you kind of see that in other psychological thrillers, and that is why this is not perfect, is because in other psychological thrillers, you're like, okay, I'm trying to invest in this twist and this turn and everything that's going on and on and on and on and stuff like that. But then I've got these characters that are kind of having this dialogue about like this really, really hilarious, like kind of off-putting, strange piece of dialogue. So they're trying to like makes you laugh, but it's not like it's a comedy movie. Like if that makes any sense, if you know what I mean. So that's super duper effective. And then when it gets to the thriller aspects, and there are points where it does a bits of horror to later on in the movie, but I'm not going to spoil. So there's a lot to really say here. So yeah, like I said, it's a 7 out of 10 at best, 8 out of 10 because of Hugh Grant and the other actors. And so that is my review on Heretic. Tried to keep it simple, tried to keep it short, so I wasn't going to spoil everything. See you next week, or not next week, see you probably tomorrow from my video on Like a Dragon Yakuza episode 4 through 6. So yeah, bye. See you in the next video. Bye bye bye.